More and more eccentric superhumans are coming out of the woodwork. We're going to launch a division for them. And I want the She-Hulk to be the face of it.
Hola, Kat, ¿cómo estás? How are you?
Muy bien, gracias. I don't speak Spanish, so that's the end.
Well, you could have fooled me because that was really good.
Thank you. I see you're on the move.
I'm trying to get some Hulk power, so I'm driving around to see if I have. And I can get some powers. No, I'm just kidding. Jessica, the show is fantastic. Congratulations.
Thank you.
I'm so happy because I got to talk to you for Marry Me, and we talked a little bit about She-Hulk, and I was like, oh my God, it's finally coming out. How does it feel?
I thought that I recognized you. It's so exciting. You know, there are so many secrets in the series that I've had to keep a lid on for so long. And so part of what's exciting is just being able to talk about it.
Jennifer Waters.
Namaste.
I have a serious conflict of interest. This man tried to kill my cousin, Bruce.
Yeah, that's quite all right.
Oh.
The show is being advertised as the first comedy in the MCU, which it is really funny. And I just have to ask you, as a writer, how was it for you to inject more comedy into the MCU, but also having all this amazing action sequence with She-Hulk?
The comedy part for me was the part that I was most familiar and comfortable with, because I come from my background is in writing TV comedies. And so that was always a priority for me. I always knew the show was going to be a comedy. I knew, the humor was going to be very important, but that's also the part that I felt the most confident about, the Marvel action aspect of it is more new to me. But the thing about Marvel, for better or for worse, Marvel is a machine, they kind of have all of these things in place where they've been doing this for so long, and they're kind of at the top of their game when it comes to action, that there is this whole system put in place to take care of all of that stuff.
Well, there's so much comedy in the MCU. And at first I was so hesitant to say that, we're the first comedy, but what we are is the first half-hour legal comedy. And I think what's different about our comedy is there's a lot of really small comedy that's based on tiny situational interactions and almost mundane, relatable life moments. And because we have the luxury of being a series where we don't have a plot driving us, we are allowed to develop character in a way that I do think is fresh.
People only care because I'm representing Emil Blonsky. I think they care because they're like, hey, that girl's great.
And you have a super team of super women behind you. If I'm not mistaken, a big part of the team behind the scenes are women, correct? How was that?
Well, Wendy Jacobson, who is our producer at Marvel, who really put this whole thing together, had a vision for a She-Hulk that was seen through a female lens. And so she was responsible for hiring all of us. And I love that she was so passionate about that, because so many of the stories in She-Hulk are relatable to everybody. And I want men to love this show, but they also see things from a distinctly female point of view. I think that anybody can tell stories, but having women tell these specific women's stories is, it sheds a lot of light. And there were a lot of really interesting conversations behind the scenes as we all talked about what it means to be a woman walking through the world.
Jen, do your thing. God, I really like this outfit. I'm not proud of this.
Let me tell you what I love the most. I love the friendship between Nikki and Jennifer. And I have to ask you, what's the secret to being a good friend when your best friend is going through it?
I mean, the great thing about Nikki is that she is a ride or die friend. She'll do anything for her friend. She will back her up 100%, but she'll also tell her the truth when she needs to hear it, which is so important in a friend. And we were so lucky to have Ginger Gonzaga play Nikki, because Ginger is just so funny, so talented, and their chemistry is so great. Her chemistry with Tatiana, it really feels real, that their friendship is real, because they are now friends in real life. And what I love about their friendship is it feels so lived in, it feels comfortable. Like when they're hanging out together on the couch, it was so important to show like a real friendship and not just a TV friendship. So when you see them, they're not looking at each other. One of them's on the phone, one of them's on the computer, and there's just talking. Sometimes they're talking, sometimes they're not talking to each other. And that to me feels much more real. Like that's how I hang out with my friends. We're not just sitting on a couch staring at each other, talking about life.
Friendship is everything in this modern world. Community is what keeps us grounded and keeps us able to continue when things are difficult. And what I love is that even though this is a superhero story about Jennifer Walters' She-Hulk, her friend ends up being a super friend who actually saves her in many ways. And I love showing a female friendship that is not divisive or jealous or based on men, but it's really just about their bond together.
Miss Walters, we answer to a higher power. Our universe is on the edge of a precipice.
I am a lawyer. We do things by the book.
The Book of Ashanti.
No, the book of American laws.
Let's speak a little bit about the secrets, because the show She-Hulk probably is one of the ones who has the most cameos and guest stars. And so how is it that for you guys? Because that would be pretty cool.
I mean, what I love about the premise is that we're set in reality, and our reality happens to be in the MCU where superheroes exist. And because we're at a superhuman law firm, it feels very organic that all these people come through the doors. And it never feels like a gratuitous cameo just for the sake of it. It really feels like it's driven by the premise, which I love.
Is there anyone who you wish that you could represent, that Jennifer could represent that isn't in the show? Maybe from the past?
I mean, there were a ton. There's a long list of people that we wanted to use for the show, and sometimes it's just because it's a rights issue for the character. Sometimes it's because Marvel has other plans for that character, so we can't really step on their toes. But there was a long list of people.
We're greedy. The fans are greedy. We want it all. Thank you so much, Jessica. The show's fantastic, and I can't wait for everyone to watch it.
Thank you, and drive safe.
Thank you so much, Kat.
Thank you. Nice to see you again.